place right now.
Look at these two players. They're both looking at the ground. Like, Dark's playing with his fingers. ByuN's like reading a book that's on his lap.
I think ByuN knows that it's frustrating that Dark nearly ran away with that one, even though he held the attack, because Dark's transition was so quick. ByuN's like, oh, close one there. I mean, I really had to hit that attack. Oh, he's got ultras. I don't have the answer yet.
It's definitely not a super easy win for ByuN, that's for sure. But guys, the map is all loaded up, so let's jump into Dusk Towers for game number 3. Welcome to everybody's favorite map, Dusk Towers. Down in the bottom left in the red, the Zerg player is not able to take that last game. We'll see how he does here. It is Dark.
His opponent to the top right, solid defense and counterattack. The GSL champion, he is ByuN. Go. Winner of this will take the momentum one step closer. The winner also will be on match point, which is always an extra psychological factor you have. This is the map where if we were going to see something sneaky or cheeky or whatever version of eeky you guys want to say, like it's like an Australian version or something. Beaky. Like some, if you're going to see like the Moonlight Eeky Deeky Beaky kind of build, it's going to be on this map with Reapers. ByuN Raynor is here. ByuN would definitely play Raynor in Heroes of the Storm. Got Stim in the butt, though. I don't know if that's where you want that. So, I mean, this is going to be a calmer opening, obviously, since it's not that Reaper play, which is like 1 out of 150 games. And we're going to see just straight-up play here, at least from the outset. And Dark will get Overlord speed shortly. We'll scout it all out. And I'm expecting this could be maybe the best game of the series, just because the map creates that sort of epic game, the tug of war, the long, drawn-out rally points, which really does hurt the Terran with the style that ByuN is showing us, where he's just rallying units across the map, trying to defeat Dark before he has the Ultra Tech. And that's kind of how this matchup is played a lot of the time in Korea, is does he have Ultras? If he does, I probably didn't do enough damage, and now I'm probably going to struggle to deal with them and probably die. Obviously, there are exceptions, but generally when someone has 6 Ultras in a game, it's the Terran is losing in most cases, right? Obviously, that's not a straight rule, but that's what ByuN is trying to prevent, is to stop the Ultras, or if Ultras come out, they come out too late, and Dark is almost dead, and he just has to eventually defend. He rallies units over, and then he kills the Ultras and the game's over. So that's what this matchup is looking like in this best of 5. From the 2 games we've seen so far. And we'll see how this works out here in our 3rd one.
We're going to have a bit of a mix-up here from ByuN going Hellions very quickly. And he does have a tech lab being made on the barracks right next to the starport. Now, it could just be for infantry upgrades, but he could lift that and go for Banshees.
This is cool. He like lifts it and goes for Cyclones. I'm like, oh, okay. Yep, let's... I imagine he's gonna go for Cloak as well. Yeah, this is something that ByuN was known for, actually, in like Wings of Liberty as well. This type of style. Oh, surprise! Hellions, but the Queens are here. He predicted this. Also probably saw with the Overlord them coming across the map, so was ready for that one. Banshee and Cloak. No Cloak so far.
Immediate scout here.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what Dark does. I don't think ByuN even expected he was going to hide this. So as a result, does not get Cloak. This hatch may have to be canceled, to be honest, Valdez. I don't know if he can hold this. Like, he's got a few Queens.
Well, he's making only drones. He's not even committing to Lings for any kind of defense. He has a Ro.4 on the way, but it's very far away.
Queen's coming down. The hatch cannot be transfused while building. Okay, so even though he didn't kill it right now, oh my god, no way! Okay, the Lings are there. He wanted this all along. He wanted to move the Queens out of position so he could get in. Second Banshee. He may go for delayed Cloak. The Overlord is cleared out. Let's see how many Banshees he makes. If he makes enough, he could finish that hatchery off, potentially. I mean, it's very low because of how much damage. He's going to finish with like 500 or 600 hit points.
The denial on those creep tumors really just It's a very small, you know, detail, but very important as well for delaying that creep, and it's just, you know, spending that queen energy as well. Very nice small touch.
Let's see how he uses the Banshee. Queen's already predicting its location here with the Overlord.
Oh boy.
Queen range
that
is
8
real.
range, there you go.
And a drop Overlord coming in here as well. He's already built a large queen count. It's that rogue style we're seeing here now.
He also has a lot of roaches here too, so he could go for, I mean, of course you put the queens in to get them across the map fast, and to get them underneath the Banshees even more importantly.
Yeah, the Banshee is the key here, right? Because obviously this kind of push doesn't work versus Banshees. We've seen that since Wings of Liberty. The Banshee is one of the strongest defensive units you can have next to a siege tank to defend pushes like this. But the Queens kind of change that, and Queens can't get across the map by walking, but in speed Overlords, they get across the map faster than the Roaches. But we'll see how this works out.
And look at that, he's just cleaning up so many of the, you know, units that were outside. And here we go, he drops out the Queens, he's gonna push the Banshee away.
Well, that Ravager does get picked off, a huge pick off here. Oh, no way, almost got that Banshee! Such a sick predict on that one. Right in the Banshee's flight path. He does save it, but the follow-up ByuN here starting to work on these depots. Needs a quick repair, gets one off, the second one just in time, but still, these will be broken.
Yeah. Just forcing the extra round of ByuN to go onto those supply depots.
Let's not forget, this is a Terran on 2 base with a lot of SCVs. If he holds this, I mean, he's got 3 CCs. He's got triple mules. Dark has only 39 drones right now. If this doesn't do big damage, he's going to regret it.
He's got a lair on the way. This is not going to work. The Overlord gets sniped.
And that's actually a supply block here as well. Oh, the repair just in time. Not going to matter, but I just wanted to get hyped about that for a second.
Another drop coming out here.
The medevac helping these SCVs stay alive a little bit longer. He's committed so much to Ravagers, by the way, which again, versus ByuN are worthless. So, look at this, he's like, wait, you just don't even have that many drones? I'm just going to chill, make this wall again. There are 49 links, so the wall is important.
You might just not want to make that wall. I guess, as you said, it's a way to make sure you don't get swarmed by lings, especially as these bunkers get killed one by one.
An eBay wall might be the better choice here, more than no wall. He's trying to snipe combat shields. I think he will get it. Here comes the next wave.
Definitely.
Oh, he's going to commit to it. He does. It's going to cost him a lot of health, but only like 2 Ravagers died, I think, so I think that's worth it to stop all these Marines from getting plus 10 health.
Yeah, definitely worth it, I'd say. And he just backs off after that. No need to overstay your welcome. He goes straight into Infestor Tech once again. And it makes sense when you have this many Ravagers, right? We said one of the ways they, you know, gain a lot of utility is with the fungals.
Yeah.
And the corrosive biles.
It really empowers them.
Also good with banelings that he is going for as well.
He did significantly drone up, so now he's past ByuN in workers, but had ByuN had that combat shields upgrade, I mean, he'd be ready to fight. Like, he'd be ready to move across the map right now. Without it, it's definitely a situation where Dark can recover transition. It's a very similar transition to what we saw last game. And this is making for such a great series. I'm getting, like, really hyped. I wasn't sure how much hype I'd have for the CrossFinals, but I'm feeling it. Like,
I mean, ByuN versus Dark, it's hard not to have hype, right? It's pretty insane matchup.
If things had gone a different way, if they were in different groups, this could have been the GSL finals. Absolutely. And unfortunately, Dark and ByuN hit each other in that final match. An unfortunate siege here, probably queued, shift queued, so wasn't looking at it and ended up losing that. This 4th base, though, is not happening. And meanwhile, drone kills over here. The Banshee on hold position. 12 kills in total. Good position here for ByuN. Like, this base is definitely going down.
Yeah.
He's going to have to make that unfortunate
the least
cancel.
Happening base. Is he actually going to try? He is.
These
pushing
Banes
forward.
Don't have speed. There's so much on the ground here for ByuN. But he has a lot of lings. Siege Tank's getting massive value, though. Don't forget this Bio Army is 1-1. If he has the tanks picked up, though, he can't pick up the Bio. And Dark commits. Once the lings are down, though, he can fight.
Bio,
he can fight. Like, these Ravagers are not going to do anything. ByuN is so good. He's such a great player. He turns around. Fungal comes down, though, and I think that means he will have to back off. And somehow, some way, That base is at 95%. He has to make the choice to save it or cancel it. And Dark somehow holds that base. And then ByuN turns the fight into a favorable trade.
Yeah, it was looking Dark favored really, really much, and he lost a bunch of those tanks, but it just didn't matter. The micro on the Marines, the intelligence to pick up the tanks instead of the Marines, so you could get away with his Marines instead. Wolf trying to look at something on my monitor that keeps going out.
I had to, your monitor's it's doing some spasms. I had that a few weeks ago. I know that feel. The 2-2 upgrades was what I was checking, is hitting right now, right before this attack. Dark just starts 2-2, so a huge lead. Now this is a very powerful attack right now. Creep tumors are cleared. This hatchery is already low from before. I don't know how low because I don't have health bars on
about
this.
Half.
It's got half, so Fungal's used here, gets one tank. The bio weakened, going for another attack. Meanwhile, these SCVs are stacked up on these patches. But this hatch will go down. He will let it go.
And the Ultralisk Cavern does finish, but no sign of Ultras on the way. Immediate pull! He knew that was coming, it seemed. Somehow, some way, that gamer sense. Only losing, it looks like, some Marines there.
Let's also not forget, he immediately starts +3 attack. ByuN's upgrade lead is, I mean, it's going to be just incredible once we get to the point where he has that. And he can fight with this large bio army, which is not getting any smaller. Let's see if he splits against this one. Yes.
Immediately does. And he is already preparing for this drop, which he knew was coming, with a missile turret in perfect position.
Oh my god, though, because he was looking at that! He was not looking at these siege tanks! 3 tanks and 3 medevacs. A nice job here. And during the chaos, it looks like one Baneling hit will go off, 2 SCVs die. The Overlord is eliminated, nearly escapes there.
Redefining the phrase "justice reigns from above" was all those Ravagers with the perfect fungal. It's like those 3 tanks and medevacs just immediately were erased off the map.
But this is still okay for ByuN. He's going to be moving away from siege tanks anyways, but while he still has them, he's going to make this push effective. Kills the hatch, kills the drone, forcing Dark to retake the 9 o'clock base over there and try to hold on to that one. And he's long-distance mining from it currently as well. He's so starved for cash to get these Ultras out. But what we talked about before, can Dark get the Ultras up? Can ByuN deal with the Ultras? It seems like if Dark gets Ultras, ByuN has problems. This is a different scenario where ByuN has this massive army. He's starving Dark's economy. But let's see how he deals. We've seen this already from ByuN. In fact, I think it was even in their previous series at the GSL where he got Ghosts to deal with Ultras.
Yeah.
I think even on this very map, and we saw this extreme late game with nukes and stuff like that. Let's see if he can make this work again. He ended up losing that game, by the way, and it could be a matter of, there's 2 ways to look at this, right? I win the game before the Ultras come out, or I can't win the game, the Ultras are out. Let's get Ghosts, let's play this late game, let's play Dark's game. I can beat him at his own game. The question is, can he actually pull it off? Because last time he failed, it was an incredible game. But this time, you know, will history repeat itself? He's got so many Marines. 3-3, nearly done, +3 attack finishing as we speak. And Dark has a moment to take a breather, take another base, get that 5th base up. He's basically double expanding now that the pressure is relieved, now that he has these Ultras out, and he's going to go on the attack.
I like it. You know, I was kind of curious to see if Dark was going to actually move in, and he does back off once again. But he had like a critical mass of Ultras. He's up to 8 now. He doesn't have that many Queens. In fact, only 3. Definitely a very low number for this point in the game. But he's allowing ByuN to get the answer. You know, ByuN knows that there's a large amount of Ultras now out on the map. He's going to have a large number of Ghosts and Liberators to deal with that. And he's got a really defensive setup, so I understand why Dark doesn't go for the attack, but still.
With Snipe, you can really do quick damage that ignores armor to Ultralisk. Nice snipes there by ByuN. Well, and that's very powerful, and we're even seeing Ultra drop here. But I also do want to point out that EMP is going to be very important too in these big engagements. He will need to use EMP to stop the Infestors and also Vipers later on. Okay, here we go. The first few snipes is going for the EMP, it looks like. Quick reaction by Dark. He does not see this coming. That one Liberator, not enough. It's going to help him defend, but he's going to send a large amount of bio home. I mean, because there's an Ultra in this drop. I mean, this is no ordinary drop.
It's a special drop, the Ultra drop. You're exactly right.
It's an extraordinary drop.
Yeah. The Lings are still going to do a lot of the damage here.
Oh, killing this starport would be huge because it takes away his Liberator production. Looks like he will lift it and save it. He'll need to repair.
Ultra on the run. Decides to turn around and fight. And you can see how much damage that does. A lot of that bio very, very low.
Take a look at the minimap. I mean, while this happens, it's not about how many buildings he kills or how many SCVs he kills. He gets another base. He has free roam to mine. Now he can finally, he should be finally dealing with those Marines on the high ground. I think he is going to fungal them here. Blind fumbles on the high ground. But finally he cleans with this. So now he's got a 6th base. He can mine from his 5th base. That drop bought him so much space and time to work with, while also limiting the production of ByuN's Liberators and Ghosts. We're going to see ByuN kill some of his own units soon, possibly throw away a few more SCVs.
Going for the fungal, he gets 5 of the Ghosts!
Oh man, that's so many! Got an EMP, but that's not even permanent. Those Ghosts are never coming back. That was huge. The longer this game goes on, the more he's going to want those Ghosts, obviously in high count. I mean, we're talking like up to 20. The hatch goes down, but he replaces it with another. And that is one point that Dark has really struggled to deal with, is that high ground behind this base. But he's just saying, instead of attacking the units up there, instead of dealing with that, instead of committing to that, I'm going to take the bases that don't have that problem. The bases to the top left, the bases you can attack. And, he has these drop overlords still available, by the way. And if you look at the minimap, you can see he's probably setting up for another drop. And even Nidus is available here.
I like it. I mean, it's going to put so much pressure on ByuN to the point where he can't just protect the front and continuously try to take fights. He's going to split up that army and, maybe take away a lot of the support of the Ghosts, too, and leave them kind of alone in the middle of the map.
This is the drop I was talking about. The 2 turrets are going to be up, but if he just presses the unload command, he should be able to get everything out of there before the overlords die with 4 of them. Also, the most important overlords at the back, the Ultralisk. He did not use the unload command, though. He's currently fighting on the other side of the map. An Ultra may just die here. Okay, he does get the most important unit out here, and some Lings. Well, that Ultra is trying to mine. Usually the drone wants to be the Ultra. This time the Ultra wants to be the drone. More Ghosts
another
get
huge
caught.
fungal.
He's being too greedy with these EMP attempts.
He has 7 more, I think, in this army. 9 in total. Look at this. It looks like finally that was cleaned up in the main. And here the 1 Ultra defense is not enough, but he could go for a flank.
And, 2 Liberators taken out here. The cost of 1 Ultra looks like went down there, if I'm reading that Bloodstain correctly. I'm no Zerg Bloodstain analyst, but...
Well, you are today, Wolf.
Here we go. I mean, this is a lot of Zerg here. Nice blocks here. The blinds going down onto the army, and he will be forced to lift. And, that's the fungal he wanted. That was an incredible trade for Dark. Very well done. And
he even keeps that base alive, too.
Yeah. All ByuN really got was a little bit of a few kills on the Ultras. And to be fair, ByuN can replace his army much faster than Dark. Replacing Ultras, expensive, long build time. The army of ByuN comes out of barracks and starports, very quick to replace with the money he has. But maybe this isn't too much Zerg. He's got so many Corruptors here, and there's no more medevacs to work with, but the ground army is a little bit too small here potentially for Dark. Those Ultras he was making, finally they're here. 3 of them. ByuN is kiting one of the best players at Micro in the world. Has to fall back to this defensive location with these orbitals.
Look at that, he blocks for all the Ghosts in the back. Bunch of snipes come down. Still a lot of that supply in the Corruptors. It looks like ByuN will just barely hold.
This base is still uncontested.
Mules are pretty good.
Mules are powerful. That's the power of Terran is its inherent mobility. And its economy that's not based on drones, it's based on energy in a weird way, if you think about it that way. It's true, though. The economy is only partially based on workers. It's half based on energy, and that's not something that Dark can take away. As we see this Liberator looking for some harassment here. The longer the game goes, obviously the more valuable this kind of harass becomes, because it's hard to multitask this and make sure that at your 6th, 7th base you have Spore Crawlers to defend against a Liberator you don't know is coming. So even just sending 1 unit like this is very powerful. It's So powerful to see.
It's one unit that forces such a huge reaction, right?
Exactly.
The pull, the entire army goes up, not just the Corruptors. You know, it may force him to look up there, make a Spore, do something. It buys ByuN a lot of time.
Notice the scan and the army movements here for ByuN. He wants to make sure that the bottom part of the map is his territory and it belongs to him. Because we're getting to the stage of this game, we're past 20 minutes here, which would really be like about 35 minutes or so in old Blizzard time. We're getting to the stage where if you know, we get there, the map could be mined out, every base counts, and the entire game will be decided on like the final remaining base, who can control it. And that's like how late game works in all matchups. If it gets to that point, I'm talking supreme late game, like the latest of the late game. And right now for ByuN, I mean, I think he's approaching that. He needs to control the bottom of the map. He needs to make sure that is his territory and try to deny as much mining as possible, because Dark's units, again, they're expensive. We're talking about building Marines and Marauders as beef of the army versus building Corruptors, Ultralists, Vipers, Infestors, expensive units. So delaying mining, especially gas mining, is so critical right now for ByuN. That's what he's looking to do.
Look at this slow creep forward. He doesn't have that many Liberators. I think it's like, oh, he's got 8 actually.
I mean, that's
not all up there together.
Yeah.
He's getting them all together now. Look at this position with the Ghost on the high ground. I'm not sure that Dark can hold this space.
So all those mineral patches are still like almost full because Dark has never really been able to properly mine from this base this entire game. And he's just not willing to defend it either. Whenever this happens, he goes, nope, I'm not going to lose the game off one attempt to fight over this high ground. I just will not do it. I will just simply take the other bases to the top of the map. This Nidus is resurfaced here. ByuN knows about it, but this is not enough bio to deal with what's coming out. He's got Ultras coming out of that. Another Nidus being made over here into the main base. And Dark really starting to put that pressure on, showing that Zerg 2 is also mobile if you get these Niduses up, if you can afford them. We're taking the gold base now, very risky base to take, but he's at that position where I think he can reasonably hold it.
He's got a Nidus in the main now, and that's where all the production is. We'll see how much he commits to it there. Looks like not all that much, but he is pulling this Terran army apart.
Well, people talk about the fact that, you know, maybe battlecruisers are underrated because they have an ability to do instant teleport, but when you think about it, if left to its own devices, Zerg can also have instant travel with the Nidus. When ByuN's army comes all the way back here and you think that he wanted to not have here, just goes back to the other side of the Nidus, you can have so many different travel points. So any unit that he has here could have also just jumped back to the main base if this wasn't viable anymore. So it pulls ByuN into different pieces and he loses control of the middle of the map. Luckily for him, he still maintains control this time because he defended that so handily. Now going for this attack over here as we see Cloak is on the way. Big snipes queued, another Ultra goes down, and he's controlling this zone. Corruptor's out of position, 2 more get sniped.
He has so much snipe energy too. I'm not sure if it was selected there on the main screen, but it's nearly full for a lot of those ghosts. Another big run by here from that Nidus, trying to go for the planetary. Not sure if that'll work out.
There's a lot of Banes. Don't forget, ghosts are not...
Oh, the ghosts! Oh. They're all getting sniped here by just a huge Baneling run by. No real micro there. No splitting against. I think he lost at least 4 ghosts once again.
But still the main ghost count is here. You see a big parasitic bomb. He needs to split those or every unit will die inside. Those ghosts are so important. He needs to unload. He needs to unload right now. Oh, close call there, but a lot of these medevacs now low on health, which means they can be sniped easier by Corruptors, which means less healing.
Or even another parasitic bomb, and then you lose like 4 or 5 medevacs in one go.
Ghosts, remember, are not light units, so they take a few more Banelings to kill. But if you don't have medevac energy healing them all the time, you know, if they're low health and the Banelings crash in, the Lings crash in, whatever you're fighting with, the Ultras are on top of them, and you do a lot. You know, it wouldn't even be crazy to make 1 Viking and leave it up there to stop this from happening. He is leaving a small force of units, which I guess will serve the same purpose, but shutting that down is important. It's really been a pain for him. This up. In fact, the Lings will overtake this eventually.
He gets a nice amount of Lings out, and this is kind of the amount that he wanted. You know, he was never overcommitting to the Nidus harass. He just specifically sent small groups of units in there to force a reaction out of ByuN. Snipes the armory. Look at that. Finally kills that burrowed Ling.
Yeah, that was pretty frustrating. And by the time he deals with this, units come here. Now by the time he deals with this, the new Nidus in the main pops out.
Burrows another Ling, because why not?
It's this instant teleportation device called the Nidus Network that's so powerful it's used in Brood War in defensively to defend bases, so it gives Zerg mobility. In StarCraft 2, it's used mostly aggressively, but it's used for on this map specifically, and Dark has used this more than anyone on this map. We've seen it's a very similar game between these two players on this map in the GSL as a ping pong, aggressive, almost like a just constant drop potential. There's no way to deny this. You can't stop every Overlord. You can't stop Vision. A Ling
and
burst
now
here.
they're vulnerable when they're coming in this patch that we're currently playing on. Oh, a huge fungal!
Oh man, that is big. EMP here, very insignificant comparatively. A second fungal goes off, but he does not want to fight next to those Liberators. ByuN's economy is falling apart.
Man.
He cannot deal with these Niduses.
This is why Dark is the best ZVT player in the world by far. He's just everywhere. He's all over you.
And if this continues, ByuN will lose in very similar fashion. The game he lost on Dust Towers to GSL was just like this, and he may lose, this second one. They've only played against each other one time. It was that one best of 3. It's the second time they ever played against each other, and we see this one game in this meta looks exactly the same. And eventually ByuN lost the game because he lost control of his bases because of Nidus networks. He can't deal with all of them, and if the Zerg is left to have enough money to be able to keep producing them, every time he kills one, another comes up. It's a whack-a-mole game that ByuN is quickly losing.
And it's not only the Overlords, it's Burrowed Links. You see the 2 actually are Observer points them out. You can get Vision with that, you can play Sinitis, and then, you don't even need the Overlords to come in. He's making another one in the back door once again.
And ByuN is spending all of his resources, all of his time, all of his units to defend, which means all the bases are mining, all the bases have gas mining, and so we can just make these Niduses. He can commit this to the base. He can actually commit this. Okay, ByuN is here. Nice con game at the ball on the ramp. This is still a ton of Banes. He won't be able to click on the planetary, but ByuN needs to have a bigger response, I feel. Okay, he's going to just repair here on the planetary. Baneling hit here decent, but the Ultralisk can just target the SCVs. This is what I'm talking about. He needs a bigger response. Here come the Ghosts.
Oh, man.
14 SCVs too late.
Yeah, a lot of economic damage being done. As you said, as we get later in this game, you need to take care of those bases. And, he's got one planetary down there. A couple of other command centers probably going to be used to take other bases.
All right, Burrowed Ling in the main. Gives that other Nidus vision. ByuN already responds immediately. I'm not even sure how he had vision of that because he lost all his buildings near the location. But he immediately replies, we'll instantly kill that one to the top. You can see on the mini-map. This is insignificant harass comparatively. 3 SCVs go down. Keep a close eye on the minimap again. Here comes more out of this Nidus, and he's going to continue to harass with this. Lings will struggle to fight these Marines. He might have to morph them to Banglings. Notice that the cost here for Dark in gas for doing this is quite high. He has no gas bank, and that's somewhat alarming if he starts to lose foothold in this game, but I just don't see that happening because now he has the better tech with these Broodlords out even on the map. This is ByuN's one opportunity to really break through and change that.
Yeah, ByuN is getting some Vikings out now, in fact. I'm not sure if he saw those Broodlords. He sees them now, but definitely the counter to the Broodlords if you can get on top of them.
Okay, this is going to be perhaps the winning or losing moment here for ByuN. If he can win this one fight with the lack of gas here for Dark, remaking these units is not really an option. So if he wins this one fight, he can win the game, but if he doesn't, I think he loses it. Here comes the attack. Big yanks here on all of these 4 Liberators. Ghosts in good position here. Need to drop some snipes, but they're busy kiting against these Lings. Vikings worthless right now in this fight. Ghost used Cloak to try to escape. Has to split against the Banelings. Here comes the Overseers. He's trying to target them down to keep these Ghosts alive.
It's not going to be enough. They all get cleaned up in the end, and ByuN falls to 80 supply.
The fight he had to win, he loses, and that is going to be game here. GG, Dark takes the lead. He is on match point.
Unbelievable play, man. Mind-blowing ZVT. ByuN, he just could not keep up. He didn't win a single fight there. I think once it got to the late game, he couldn't deal with the harass, and he couldn't take a straight-up fight. He seemed kind of lost, like he was just holding on for a long time.
There you have it.
We also have us in the dark in respect to Dark.
Massive respect.
Right?
We turn the lights down.
Yeah, we got to keep it dark in here as he continues to win.
I don't want to know what happens if ByuN wins if that's the case, but
oh no.
That game was phenomenal. supreme mechanics, though, I feel go to Dark. He had the better mechanics. ByuN could not deal with the Lings nor the Overlords dealing with creating these knights, giving vision. So if you're a novice, you don't know this, Nidus networks cannot be created globally without vision. You have to have vision. So removing the vision is the challenge, because the Zerg at this point has 25, 30 Overlords. So he just sends one in, an Overseer, whatever he wants. Sends those in, gets the vision, then finally you think you've dealt with that. Then a Birdling gets in. You don't know where it is. Or you're just going to be blindly scanning your base over and over again.
Missile turrets or something, you know, keeping some units in there. I suppose that's one of the only other things you could do.
But I think I think the real answer for this, ByuN is so frustrated. I think the real answer for this, though, is if you keep a Viking and you stop that one Birdling from getting in, if you initially have the proper setup to have the Viking there, no Overlords get into the main base, then you stop that. You'll never be able to really fully stop the ground-based knights to the bottom, but if that's the only one you're focusing on, then it becomes a little bit easier. But ByuN couldn't deal with that. Dark was all over the place. Every time he knifes 2 locations, then also took some territory on the map, spread his creep a little bit further, it created a smaller zone for ByuN to mine from every time. He's sort of shrinking him down on the map. I think our light went out. I think that's actually what was happening. It's going to be replaced. Normally when the light goes out, it explodes and makes a really loud noise, so I'm glad that didn't happen. But
maybe it did while something was going on in the game. We just didn't notice. And we did
it could be a game was hype
on as well. But next map is going to be New Gettysburg. So we've seen now Dark's late game ZVT is just pretty much untouchable, unless he had some other way to hit a timing or he had a better push. But whenever I see him on Dusk Towers or a map like Frozen Temple where it gets really late, it's just so scary for me, for those Terran players, thinking about them playing this game. New Gettysburg, another map that can go very, very late. Of course, the structure is very different, but another map that I would slightly favor Dark on here.
In this studio, too, this is a map of sad memories for ByuN. This is actually, this is the map he lost the final game to Classic on, where he was eliminated from Star League. Classic went all the way to the round of 4, nearly going to the finals, who he is also a Star League champion, the only player to win a Star League and a GSL Classic.
That was a crazy series, by the way, Dark versus Classic. Definitely go back and watch that one.
I think at that moment, the series of ByuN as well, right? I think at that moment when he lost to Classic, which was on New Gettysburg where he lost in that late game, I think ByuN was not fully formed in his TVP. Like, he was not perfect yet. Now he's perfect. But looking at this map, it's a map where, you know, he could meet his end in this studio again versus Dark. And I know ByuN wants this so much. When you're, let me try to explain this in like esports terms. When you are a defending champion, how many players have we known to win one title? So many. People forget that Sniper was a GSL champion, that Joxy was a GSL champion. Nobody forgets Life. Nobody forgets Nesty, MVP, Zest, Classic. These players have won so many titles. If you lose here, you start to lose momentum. Everyone says you're a one-hit wonder. Everyone said it was an easy